Dane Brugler's back with some more craziness. Get this. He's like, okay, I just came out with the Beast that had over 2,700 prospects. What can I do even more crazy? Oh, let's come out with a 7-round mock draft. And that is what he is doing right here. A full 257 picks being made. 7-round mock draft. I'm trying to work on my own 7-round mock draft right now. Telling you right, anybody who can do a 7-round mock draft, woo, you are crazy. It is unbelievable. It's always a lot of fun, but it can be a real challenge. So I have a lot of respect for Dane and anybody that could do some 7-round mock drafting. I'm going to go through team by team, but I am going to kind of show you guys the first round here. So if you wanted to kind of just take a look at what your team does in the first round, feel free to pause at your spot and then you can kind of go from there. But yeah, I want to go through this team by team, and that'll way we'll be able to kind of highlight some of the areas each team wins. So there's your first round to see any shockers and whatnot. So here we go. We're starting off with the Arizona Cardinals. It's team by team. It's in alphabetical order. There goes Dane Brugler. So we start off with MOCL Williams and what he's able to do in this draft for them. Now, I'm not going to go through every pick and stuff. I'll try to keep it within about a 30-40 minute video so that way you don't bore you too much. Just going to highlight some players and talk about some things with what they've been able to do here. I struggle a lot with the Arizona Cardinals, mainly because it's like, okay, where do I think they're going to go? Their defensive line would be the first guess for me, but at the same time, it's like they've added in a ton of guys between, Tomlinson and Sweat and whatever. Like, you got guys coming back from injury like B.J. Ojolari. What do they want to do? Maybe Xavier Collins moves back to more of a traditional linebacker role. Who knows? Like, there's just so many possibilities that I feel like they could do and go after. So that's why I'm not sure yet. Because at the same time, like a lot of these guys too on the defensive interior, they're going to be moving on from them after this next season. Even Dalvin Tomlinson, they could get out of that contract to save $10 million. So that's why I'm saying, like, I do understand that as well. I could see them going wide receiver, Matthew Golden. I could see them going with a linebacker and Jahad Campbell, or a corner, Will Johnson. There's just plenty of areas that they could upgrade on their roster. So it's like whoever they feel is best available for what they are prioritizing, and I'm cool getting MOCL Williams. I think he's a great player. Jalen Noel, excellent speed, and add for them to compete with Greg Dortch early on. And then you got Ty Hamilton, good solid player at Ohio State, a little bit of an underrated player, and Dane he's clearly high on him, which he was in his Beast as well. The Beast. And then Emory Jones, I like that pick. I think that's a really good one. There's going to compete over at that right tackle position, whether Christian Jones can be the answer or not for the future. Just feel like they need to improve the offensive line and add some more help. On to the Atlanta Falcons. It's Mike Green. Pass rusher, please. He double dips the defense line. He goes Tyleek Williams here, which, hey, they could still use some more youth on that defensive line. They did add row your boat gently down the stream in the second round last year. I believe they traded up for him too. So I don't know if I agree with it, even though I do like Tyleek Williams a lot. He would be BPA in my opinion at 46. So actually I would do that. Why not? Tyleek Williams, he's a stud. I'm cool with that. Safety is an area also they need to keep an eye out on as well. Logan Brown, a good developmental tackle for them at right tackle. And I like that one for Caleb McGarry. Kobe Bryant, nice pick there in the 7th round. Whoa, that's a steal in my opinion. Man, that's crazy. Kyle Monunga, also a steal. Oh, yeah. I know you got Bijan and Algier, but Algier, I believe, is going into a contract here. Monunga would just be... It's ridiculous. That is pretty good. Baltimore. Okay, here we go. We got the Baltimore. Let me zoom out a little bit so you can see the whole thing. And there we go. Okay, Ravens get Kelvin Banks in the first round. Makes sense. And especially Dane has him listed at the guard position. They get Xavier Watts. Okay, I like that one too. Getting a safe. They need another safety desperately. So that makes a lot of sense too. And that because Kyle Hamilton can play all over the field. So getting a true safety would make same thing with Darius Washington. Ashton Gelati, one of my favorite players off the edge in this draft class. Unbelievable. Yeah, he's a monster. Riley Mills, don't mind that. You get Caleb Ransaw, more cornerback help. David Walker, another one of my favorite edges. And the 5th round? What? Okay, that's unbelievable. That's a great steal there for the Baltimore Ravens. You get a deep threat with Dante Thornton. Overall, you get a kicker, Andres Borgales. All right, yeah, you got to find the future with Justin Tucker, especially allegations. Khalil Mullins seems like a guy they would draft too. Pretty good draft there for the Ravens. I like that one. Buffalo we go. Oh, I love Malachi Starks. If he falls, that's an easy pick for me. They need secondary, but you know what? They get a secondary player in the 2nd round, Siobhan Revel. Like, this is a perfect draft. In terms of the first 3 picks, even the 4th rounder, I love that one a lot. Honestly, I'm looking at this draft right now. It's one of my favorite Buffalo Bills draft. I think it's an A-plus draft overall for the Buffalo Bills. They need secondary help. They get Malachi Starks and Siobhan Revel. Need some more DT, run stopping, future-wise. They get that with Joshua Farmer, really good in that department. And then Braden Swenson, more pass rush, right, for the future. Joey Bosa only on a 1-year contract. Seth McLaughlin could give. I mean, he could also maybe move over to guard. That's the only question. Is like, okay, you got Cedric Van Pran. Would you look for more of a guard developmental guy, David Andrews, if they don't re-sign him after this season? So that would be my one little nitpick there. Brashad Smith, I like that one, especially if James Cook does not re-sign in free agency. I think that'd be a great move for them. So great draft overall. Carolina, Jalen Walker, the Georgia edge rusher, and I think he'll end up being a full-time edge rusher in the NFL, or more or less. Panthers have a clear need there. I know that for me personally, I'm lower on Jalen Walker. We've talked about this one in many regards, but the traits, I hear nothing but great things about him on and off the field as a leader, and what he brings, his heart and soul and energy. Those are all things that you have to count for. His upside as more of a true pass rusher. When you go to the next level, they're going to let him rush the quarterback off the edge more, and that should help and things like that. But there are some areas he needs to work on with his power and developing as a pass rusher. Things start to get interesting on day 2 where they got TJ Sanders. Interesting, all right? I mean, they just got Tershawn Wharton, so it's a little redundant in there. Maybe they're just trying to say to themselves, we think Sanders is best available, and we're going to develop him for the future because we may not think we get the contract, the full contract out of Wharton. I don't know. That's an interesting discussion there. Overall, it's more pass rush. I mean, Sanders definitely gives them some more pass rush, which is a huge problem for them. So I don't hate it. I think that there are other areas of need, such as safety, cornerback, both big areas that this team has to address. So yeah, I mean, it is what it is. But I like the Jack Bech pick. I think that's he's a great receiver and add another weapon that could play inside out for them. Billy Bowman, and it worked out, I will say, because you got Billy Bowman and Dorian Strong, both guys that I'm higher on, I think are going to be good football players. Maybe they just lack certain traits, whether it's Bowman with the size and tackling, or Strong with the overall athletic profile. It just doesn't, he's not the biggest guy either, but I think he's super sticky in coverage. So I think those are great secondary picks and dudes that I feel like can contribute for them early on, too. Demetrius Knight, I don't have a problem with that one. Add some more linebacker help, right? I mean, why not? Their depth is a little thin, and I think they could use a little bit more help. Josie Jewell's getting a little bit older now, too. Rodgers, good pick. Hunter, big fan of that. I mean, why not? That'd be like their third running back in the tandem. And you got another safety in Maxine Hook, the Hook. And then on to the Bears, Tyler Warren in the first round from Penn State. Hey, I mean, I totally think it's either Genty or Warren. Whichever one of those guys falls, hopefully one of them, right, for the Bears fans, or, I think either one of those players would be an amazing addition for Ben Johnson in that offense. Hey, even offensive line would be cool with that, or defensive line, whatever they want to do, depending on who is available. But I love Tyler Warren. I think he's going to be an absolute rock star. Speaking of a rock star, shot out of a cannon, Travion Henderson. Talk about the Jahmyr Gibbs hype that he gets. Now, I do think he is different than Jahmyr Gibbs. It doesn't have that level of explosiveness and juice to him. But I do think Henderson does have crazy burst, and he just shoots out of a cannon like that, and going to be a good ad for this football team in the second round, especially if they aren't able to get Genty in the first round. Ariante Urstri, okay. So Ariante Urstri could also play guard for them in the long haul, but he could be drafted as a left tackle of the future for Braxton Jones. Plus, the whole injury thing with Braxton Jones could be concerning for this football team. So they may say, you know what? Let's go ahead and address the trenches here. Let's go get a tackle just in case. Have a backup plan if Braxton is not ready to go come the season time period, or just for the future if they don't want to pay Braxton. Jack Sawyer in the third round. Okay, I'm okay with that one. Solid edge rusher, right? I think he's going to be a very, very solid number 2 guy. I just don't think he has the high-end traits or the bend or anything like that to be a dynamic pass rusher, but should be a good run defender. And we get some more depth. Jalen Reed, good pick there. I think he'll be a nice developmental. Hey, going back to Penn State, of course, to get another strong safety. Bengals, they go get Derek Harmon in the first round. I don't know. It is an interesting one for me. I see this a lot. I know they're thin on the defensive line. You got Slayton, Hill's back. Of course, you got some young guys and Jenkins and McKinley, and that's pretty much it that they have on their defensive interior. I think it's more of a day 3 option, finding depth there. That's really where I'm at on the defensive interior. They've invested in it between the draft and free agency now, so that's why I lean a little bit away from that. But at the same time, Derek Harmon, good football player, so I can't argue 100% against it. I just would go other areas. I think safety, edge rusher, guard, all areas. Now, they did address some of those things here, just maybe a little later in the draft. I do think Castro's a good pick and a good value later on. Oh, ETN's an interesting one, but hey, adds another vision runner in there. Miles Frazier gets him a nice guard. Landon Jackson, Barrett Carter. Okay, actually, I will say, I think they maximize their value here. I think Dane did a good job with maximizing the value and finding some players that can contribute right away and have a lot of upside. Browns, they get Travis Hunter, and then Jackson Dart in the second round. Okay, Jackson Dart, hopefully the franchise quarterback for this football team. Maybe you trade for Kirk Cousins early on, and then Dart can develop for a season or so. Ozzie Trapillo, developmental right tackle, especially DeJuan Jones injuries. Jack Conklin have also had some injuries, so that's something they need to invest in and think about the future there. They get a running back here on day number 3. They got Jordan James from Oregon. I'm fine with that one. I mean, they need a running back, and especially with some of the other needs that they have on this roster, if they want to wait until day 3 to get a running back, I'm totally fine with that. This is a pretty deep class, so they can definitely afford to do that. Nick Martin, I would have to point out here as being a really nice pick for them, especially with the injury. I mean, they've got some depth, of course, Devin Bush and whatnot, Diabate, etc. that they have out there. Overall, I hope JOK is going to be okay come 2026. Nick Martin would be a nice player for them, especially even for special teams purposes early on. They get a backup tight end and CJ Dupree there. On to the Dallas Cowboys, Matthew Golden, and remember Tetairoa McMillan was off the board at this point, so getting Golden is just, Golden with me. I'm cool with it, man. Heck yeah. I think it'd be a nice pick for them. Judkins, Shamar Turner. Okay, see, Shamar Turner, let's go. I like Shamar Turner a lot. I think he's a guy that's a little underrated. Yeah, you worry about some of the demeanor stuff. He's kicking butt sometimes too much out there. He's laying the best. Sometimes he is just looking to just destroy dudes. Maybe he gives you a little Ndamukong Suh vibes to his game, or Warren Sapp. And hey, in a good way, that's good company. I don't know if he's that long prospect, but I do think he's got some he might have the most upside in this interior defense line class. Like, seriously, his athletic traits are crazy good. So watch out for Shamar Turner. I don't feel like people are talking about this guy nearly as much. The traits are just tantalizingly good. And let's see what else they got. Corey Black from Oklahoma State. This is a guy I've not watched at all, to be honest with you, so I'll have to go check him out. They got a cornerback. They got a couple of cornerbacks. Jordan Hancock, I thought about actually mocking him when I did the Dallas Cowboys mock draft to them, so that was one that I considered very, very much. I went with somebody else instead, but I kind of went with safety hybrid there with Malachi Moore, but he also got Kitten Crawford here from Nevada, and getting some safety help for the future because they could be a little thin there in that regard. Getting some offensive line help. I get Jack Nelson. I drafted Jack Nelson for the Cowboys in my mock draft the other day. He just got him a little bit later in the value, but I think that's a great pick for them as a swing tackle and maybe a developmental guy. So, yeah, Fadil Diggs is a good pick there from Syracuse. Has a lot of traits, I'll say that. He had a great end of the season at Syracuse. Denver, they go Amari and Hampton. Not a surprise for me. I think they go running back early in this draft, whether it's first, second, third round at latest. Getting a running back after losing Javonte Williams makes a ton of sense. So I could totally see them lining up to get a running back in this draft class that is very, very good in that department. Be able to run the ball more consistently. Jordan Birch, an interesting pick here. I could see it, though. Like, Birch could play a John Franklin Myers type of role for them on that defensive line. And that's what I've been trying to do, is drafting more somebody in that role. I don't technically go after, I didn't think about Jordan Birch, but that is a very good pick for them. I love that. I think he'd be an absolute great idea for them to add to that defensive line with John Franklin Myers possibly. I don't even know if he may get traded before the season begins cap-wise. Terrence Ferguson, okay, why not get a guy to develop? Evan Ingram is getting a little bit older now, and it's a possibility that you got to find somebody for the future. Aeneas Peoples, more defensive interior help. Xavier Restrepo in the 6th round. That's a great value there. Drew Kendall, some backup interior offensive line. But Restrepo, I love that. That's a great move there. Holy mackerel. Detroit Lions. Okay, you got Maxwell Harrison. I mean, you're getting some more coverage and playmaking ability in that secondary, I guess. So at the same time, DJ Reader is getting a little bit older too. So I could see it. I'd say that's probably the most surprising pick of this mock draft so far overall. I don't think I would do that personally. I just feel like cornerback, they've invested in it, and it's like they even have some depth too. It's like they've got some dudes like Avonte Maddox they picked up who certainly can play for them if they got injuries. You got Armik Robinson still there. So, like, I don't know. It just seems like a little bit misutilization of resources here. Maybe Dean's seeing something I'm not. Of course, you got Terrion Arnold heading into year number 2, and he can continue to improve. I just think guard/edge rusher are the clear-cut needs for this football team. I'm not ruling out BPA, somebody falling and stuff like that, but it's not like I would say, oh my goodness, Maxwell Harrison, I have to take him here in the first round sort of thing. You know what I mean? So that's kind of where I'm at with that one. Tuamolau and Wyatt Millam, though, those are good picks on day 2, and I can't argue with those. Tuamolau is going to be a good number 2 edge rusher. I think Wyatt Millam's going to be, he's a little underrated even at this point and can mold right into that guard. It's like, he is a scheme fit. He's one of those guys I've mocked to the Lions so many times at that second round pick and before the pre-draft process, and especially like before the Senior Bowl, kind of got struggled a little bit in the Senior Bowl. But overall, like, I think Wyatt Millam, his tape is really good. So I don't want to throw that out completely because I thought he was really good on tape. Jeffrey Besa, okay, add some more linebacker depth. Remember, Alexander Zaloni could be gone after this next season. Get a good coverage player next to Captain Jack. Nazir Stackhouse, another rogue grader in the run game, kind of hold blocks. Nick Nash. Okay, I like the Nick Nash pick there. And a Raekwon Lane for the Detroit Lions. At the Green Bay Packers, they go get Will Johnson in the first round. I've not seen that one, actually, I don't think at all. I haven't seen Will Johnson fall that far in a mock draft, I feel like, in a hot minute. But if he falls there, oh, that's BPA for Brian Gutekunst, so I would do that, no problem. It's a great pick, actually, great pick. And especially with Jair Alexander possibly being traded, they could use an outside cornerback, right? They've got Nate Hobbs, you got Keyshawn Nixon. Like, who's your true outside cornerback other than Jair at this moment? Yeah, Darius Alexander in the second round, I could see them going edge or defensive interior in the first round. Like, it wouldn't shock me. I think Kenny Clark had a bit of a down year, and they could potentially move on from his contract after this next season. So I wouldn't rule out them drafting another interior defensive lineman earlier in the draft. LKU Manor, it seems like a perfect fit for them. It's another outside weapon that has some speed. Let's see who else they get. Thomas Fidone, I thought was a steal there in the 6th round. I like that pick a lot, even though they're really deep at the tight end position. So it's not a huge need, but I would take Fidone there no matter what in the 6th round at 198. I think that's a great value. Curtis Rourke, okay. I mean, you know the Packers. They always seem to draft quarterbacks late, and then they develop, and then they end up trading them. So it just seems to be their philosophy. I love that. Why not? Houston, get Walter Nolan. Okay, I'm cool with that one. I think it's a great pick. They need to continue to invest in that interior defensive line. Let's see what else. Oh, they got some good players. Wow, I like this draft for the Houston Texans. They double dipped the offensive line in the 3rd round. So you got Marcus Bowe and Charles Grant. You talk about playing some more wide zone over here. Yeah, oh my goodness. Talk about that. Grant and Bowe give you a lot of playmaking ability. Both guys are excellent at the second level. Second level blocking Grant is some of the best second level blocking film that I have ever watched. Jalen Royals, good pick there for them. Add some more weaponry, and especially with the Tank Dell injury. LaQuint Allen, a nice receiving back to go along with Joe Mixon. Jason Marshall from Florida. I like that. Some depth in their secondary. Eli Cox to finish it up on that offensive line. Good draft there for Houston. Indianapolis, yeah, Colston Loveland, go get one of those tight ends, right? That just seems to be the play. And you got Jonas Salvanaya. Ooh, I like that move there. He'd be a plug-and-play right guard for them over Will Fries. You got Smile Mondon in the 3rd. Okay, that's a great draft. Those first 3 picks. You got C.J. West, too. Oh, excellent draft for the Indianapolis Colts. Overall, I love this draft. You get Woody Marks there, Riley Leonard from Notre Dame, keeping some hometown favorites there, I'm sure, and Woody Marks, and Elijah Ponder from Cal Poly, the edge rusher with some trades. A+ Indianapolis Colts draft. I love that. Jaguars. As Ashton Genty, I didn't even look at that. I didn't even see that. Ashton Genty in the 1st round. Oh my gosh. I hadn't even thought about that, but now that I think about it, like Travis Etienne could be traded. You never know, or they just figure, you know what? Let's go get upgrade here in Ashton Genty, build this tandem of 3 running backs, and we're just gonna lean. Liam Cohen's gonna lean on the run game. Like, he had a tandem of 3 there at the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, so maybe he does the same thing. That would be insane. Oh my Dane, you are insane. You got Trey Amos here. Compose myself, not composure. I'm not one of those people like that. Yeah, I've never understood what that means, or whatever they do with the thing with their hand motion, but I'll have to look that up. Any which way, I could never do that. Kevin Winston and Trey Amos help their secondary out, which, huge problem for them, and hopefully that they can do a better job there with Winston and Amos. I think Winston's a steal in the pick 70. I'd take him a lot earlier than that. You got Connor Helm, another tight end for the Jaguars. I like Brenton Strange a lot, but I do think they could use somebody else in that room. I mean, they've added some guys, of course, Johnny Munt, and they got one other guy in there, too, that they added. Jay Toia from UCLA, I'm fine with that one. It's good help on the interior. If you don't go Mason Graham, he'd help them out in the run game, especially you got to factor in Devon Hamilton. Hopefully he gets back fully healthy this season, but he has been a little banged up, and Toia is a good player. I feel like he's underrated in this draft. And you got some guys here on day 3 that all look really good. Clay Webb, Mac McWilliams, Helene Pierce, Ty Felton. I like a lot of those picks. I think they're going to be some good depth. And I could see 1 or 2 of those guys being key players and maybe even some big-time starters. Amin Hassanin, also another player to watch out for, high motor player. Ooh, they got 15% off. I don't know what this place is, but all markdown styles. What do you think fits me here? Should I go with the red one, or I think I'll go with the green. Green's my favorite color, so yeah, and I'm not going for that one over there, but yeah, I think I'll go with the green. That seems to be my style over there. Girls Club. That's cool. We're cool. I don't know, but Kansas City Chiefs, we got Josh Simmons, left tackle, And yeah, you don't have to rush him in there. You got Jalen Moore, but they figure it out. And Simmons has right tackle experience as well. So if after this season, even if they don't play him right away, if Moore plays good and Juwan Taylor, whatever, but they could get off of his contract, Simmons could be the heir apparent at right tackle. I like that pick a lot. I totally understand, like, well, we've invested in the tackle position, but sometimes it's just like, you got to keep throwing wool to the fire and say, you know what? We got to hit this thing. We got to get it right. Patrick Mahomes protecting him. You clearly saw how important that was. Let's see what else we got here. Cam Scattaboo. I love that one. That's a great one. Oh, my gosh. You talk about bringing Kareem Hunt 2.0 into this roster. Bring it on all day. Let's see who else we got here. Luke Lachey in the 7th. Some more depth on the tight end room. Alfred Collins in the 3rd. Good defensive tackle next to pair. I mean, literally, they look identical. I mean, Chris Jones and Alfred Collins next to each other. That would be a fun one. Trey Harris in the 2nd round, another big-bodied. Well, actually, really the only that's a good one. That's a good one. Yeah, big-bodied outside X receiver for them. Raiders, Mason Graham, BPA. I have no problem with that one. You put him next to a guy who very similar, Christian Wilkins, and he's actually been comped to Christian Wilkins. I think on a lot of people have comped him to Christian Wilkins. So, hey, you go get 2 Christian Wilkins down your defensive line. You got Adam Butler still. Anyway, I'd still add somebody in there. And Butler is a good rotational player. He's getting a little bit older, so they add Mason Graham. That's a beastly defensive line. They get Tyler Book. Okay, Raiders, you might have won this draft. I'll just be honest with you. At least the first 4 or 5 picks, I love it. I think this is an excellent draft. Hey, Teddy Buchanan, also another guy from California, I like a ton. Buchanan is a guy that to watch out for. I think he could be like one of those linebackers that comes out on day 3. He could end up being a huge steal and a starter. But overall, like, you look at this, you get Booker, Morrison, Gordon, and Graham in those first 4 picks, and then Will Howard as a developmental quarterback. That's an A-plus draft for the Raiders. That's going to build them, and Pete Carroll, get this team going. Chip Kelly on that offense side of the ball. Absolutely. Like, that is a great draft. I love it. That is, man, that's amazing. On to the Lightning Parade, and you got the Los Angeles Chargers. They got Kenny Grant. Shocker. Oh, my goodness. Elijah Arroyo makes a ton of sense. Torrey Horton, nice pick there for some more speed in the offense. Bashaw Tutu, also more speed on the offense. More depth at corner. Ooh, I like Antoine Powell-Ryland there in the 6th round. I'd take a chance on him. I think he's got some traits to be at least a rotational player as a pass rusher for them. Tim Smith, I also like that one. I think that's a good pick. Hunter Waller, more depth at safety. Overall, not bad. I think it's a pretty good draft. Luke Kendra, some more depth on the offensive line. A solid B range. It's not bad for the Chargers. They had some core pieces. I would like to see them go edge a little bit earlier, maybe, but that would be my one nitpick. I do think that Antoine Powell-Ryland's a good pick, though. Go on to the other Los Angeles team here. You got the Rams, and I love this draft, man. I'll tell you right now, Josh Connolly Jr., BPA. If he falls to 26, I would just take him. I don't care if he sits the entirety of the season. Hey, if they stay healthy up front, I'm fine with that, but they've had injuries on that offensive line, and whenever they have injuries, like, their team just goes downhill quickly. So getting Josh Connolly Jr., whether he's the right tackle of the future or whatever, like you move Aldridge Jackson, possibly right tackle, figure it out. Connolly's too good not to take, even as I'm listed as a possible guard. I like him at tackle, that's just me, but overall, I'm a huge fan of Connolly. He's my number 1 tackle in this class, so yeah, I mean, there's a little bias there. And I thought they did a great job addressing some of the defensive needs between Quincy Riley and Danny Studsman. I think Riley's going to be a dog, whoever gets him. He just, I don't know, he gives me some DJ Reader vibes. Danny Studsman, good linebacker, solid player, going to be exactly what the type of linebacker that they use, who can stop the run and just kind of play in that simple zone dropping role and just really focus on taking a down ball carriers and making plays. Kyle McCord also. I mean, I think Kyle McCord is the quarterback that I would rather go with than drafting a first-round quarterback in this draft class. Like, McCord, I don't know. There's something about McCord that I really, really like, and I think he could be a phenomenal draft pick for whoever gets him, especially in the 4th round. That's just tremendous value. I take him in round 2 or 3 even. Consider it. I mean, why not? Ricky White, good pick for them. Hugh Robinson, I like that one in the 6th round. Why not? Develop more pass rushers. They need depth off the edge. So that's something I would say. They really need to add some more depth on that edge position. Dolphins, Nicky Manwari, add a safety into the room, and I could totally see him going after some safety help like Anthony Weaver, probably begging, please, we need secondary help in general, especially with Jalen Ramsey potentially being traded. They get Darian Porter, though, so that's going to be some helpful additions. Donovan Jackson. Okay, I'm cool with this one. I like Jackson because he could also play left tackle just in case Patrick Paul, that situation doesn't work out. It gives you a little bit of help there, and Jackson could play left guard right away. You got Vernon Broughton from Texas. I need some more help on that defensive material, which they need some more depth. That's a clear need as well. So they kind of double dip there. And you got Tyron Ingram Dawkins, who can play a little inside out. So in general, I think this is a solid. Oh, I like Isaac Tesla, too, from Arkansas, which I'm telling you, the Tesla sponsorship, bring it on. Come on, Tesla, Elon, get it together. Call the administration, call Donald, and be like, yo, I got to give this guy, Isaac Tesla, football player, give him a sponsorship up in the White House or something. But anyway, Upton Stout. I like that one. I think he could be a steal for them. Oh, they also get Dylan Gabriel. Okay, I like that one. Good backup for Tua. Left-handed quarterback. Why not? It's a good fit. You got the Minnesota Vikings. Jahdae Barron, right, getting into the corner. Versatile player into that Brian Flores defense. Another playmaker as well. Oh, Fairchild. Dylan Fairchild's one of my guys in this class. Huge fan of Dylan Fairchild. I did a full evaluation on him, and I'm just like, dude, Fairchild, this guy's so underrated. I could see him being one of the better guards in the NFL. Warren Brinson, okay, another Georgia cat. Another guy, I do like Brinson a lot as well. He was somebody I was super high on actually in last year's draft class. I thought he was going to come out, and I just didn't watch a whole ton of his film this year, but I've done evaluations on him over the past couple of years, and I like what I've seen from Brinson. I think he'll be a little underrated, whoever gets him as well. Jaden Blue at running back, I'm cool with that. Add some more electricity into the room with Aaron Jones. I'm like, it was like coming to me, I'm like, Aaron Glenn, that's not Aaron Glenn. He's the Jets coach. New England Patriots, they go Will Campbell. Pretty self-explanatory. Go get a tackle. They need to protect Drake May. You got Jaden Higgins, a wide receiver. Cool with that one as well. Oh, double dip the offense. I love it. Jared Wilson, developmental center for them. Garrett Bradbury, like, yes, he's in there, but at the same time, am I like confident? No. So I'm gonna go ahead and invest in that. I like that move for them. And then you got Ty Robinson, RJ Harvey. Okay, I can see that. I can see Kyle Kennard too in the 5th round. I think it's a solid value for Kennard. Another speed rusher off the edge. You got Grant Dellinger, some more interior. Okay, he went 3 offensive linemen. Respect it. Ryan Fitzpatrick, kicker, makes a lot of sense too. Gets more competition. Mitchell Evans for the future. Backup number 2 tight end for them. I would give this draft a solid like B+, A- for New England. I think it's a pretty good draft. I do. I think it's a pretty solid draft. Maybe not always the best available player on the board at that point, but I think it was pretty good. I think they hit what their needs too. Saints Air McMillan. Woo, that's an interesting pick. I've not seen that one in a minute. But they could still use a big body receiver. You get Brandon Cooks. Like, you got your starting 3 out there, but remember, that's something where Olave's going to go into a 5th-year contract, which fully expect them to extend him. And then you got Rashid Shaheed. He's going to be a contract year. Brandon Cooks on a cheap 2-year deal, so I'm cool with that. Like, you've got your 3 starters if you need to. McMillan, though, would be an upgrade as an outside corner or a wide receiver for them. Quarterback, they go with Tyler Shook, who I'm a little shaken by when people talk about Tyler Shook. I just don't see it. That's just me personally. Everyone's got different opinions. I just did not see it with Tyler Shook. I am so maybe concerned with him like constantly throwing on like his back foot sort of thing. Like he's constantly like ducking under, it seems like. So I don't, even when he's not under pressure. So I don't know if that's something that he can be coached out of at this point, but we shall see. I do like Noah Williams, though, from California. I think he's going to be a nice golden bear here for the Saints and adding some secondary because I think they need to do that big time. Edge position as well. Princely Malamielian in the 3rd round is a good value. Chase Lunt, developmental tackle. Also like some of these picks they got here later in the draft, like Devin Neal. I think that's an excellent value for Neal. He'll be a great 1-2 punch with Alvin Kamara. Take some pressure off of him. Eliza Huzzy as well. I think that's a nice pick there at round 7. Craig Woodson, that's a nice pick as well in the 7th round. G-Man, they go Abdul Carter. You got Jalen Milroe in the 2nd round. Yeah, I mean, I hear more and more rumors about this. I know they're hosting a private workout for him. So keep an eye on Milroe. Maybe even they trade up into back into the 1st round to get that 5th-year contract. Caleb Johnson in the 3rd round, I think would be very interesting. Like, that's a good 1-2 punch, though. I will say, like, especially if they're going to get Milroe, you want to add a really good running game. So you get him and Tracy as that 1-2 punch. Like, Johnson can be that runner, and then Tracy can be that receiving element. Yeah, I like that. I think that's a good combination. Jamar Caldwell. Ooh, great ad. I love that one. That's a really good ad. See what else here. You got Anthony Cornelius, Jay Higgins, some more depth at linebacker. Aaron Smith, a speedster at wide receiver. Yeah, fine with that one. I think it's a pretty good draft. I like that for the Giants. Jets. Okay, here we go. Jets fan. Yes, I love it. I love this draft. This is a great draft here. Thank you. Let's go, Dane Brugler. I would be jumping for joy if this was the Jets draft. You got Armin Embu. No, I still am higher on Josh Connolly and whatnot, but that's just me. I think Armin Embu, right tackle. You know he play right tackle. We're cool. I'm good with it. The traits, the athleticism, the upside that he brings to the table. Needs some coaching with his hands specifically. Overall, cool with it. Mason Taylor, love it. Great pick there at tight end. We need one. You got Ruck, but we definitely need more help there. Kyle Williams, super underrated player. I think he can play anywhere at receiver. His release package is one of the best in this draft class. Has good route running ability and great speed. Get the ball in his hands. He is just explosive. Deone Walker, a guy with tremendous upside. You put him next to Quentin Williams. Great 1-2 punch. And then Makuba, rounding out some of my favorite players in this draft. Makuba is one of those guys. Huge fan of. It just comes down to the size concerns. Yes, he's a smaller guy. He might have some liabilities up in the box, but overall, like, he is a hustler. He makes plays, and especially in that back end coverage department, he's a willing tackler too. So I like that. I think the Jets, great draft. Shamar James too. I like that one. A developmental linebacker. Josh Joyner has some tools. Zah Frazier as well has some tools. Great draft, man. Let's go Eagles now. Okay, we know the Eagles are going to go trenches, right? Yeah, Donovan Ezeraku, get a steal at 32, get a typical Howie Roseman. And then they get Tate Ratledge here in the second round, which, hey, I love Tate Ratledge. If he was available at 64, I would be cool with that. Especially that right guard position right now. You got, Kenyon Green, Tyler Steen. I did not see it with Tyler Steen. I know there's a lot of faithful Tyler Steen guys, and we'll see Jeff Stoutland, one of the best in the business. He probably is the best in the business. So that's going to be very, very telling. If they draft a guard early in the draft, then clearly they don't see it with Tyler Steen as a starter, at least as of right now. So that's going to be where it is. Developmental tackle could be something to keep an eye on. Obviously, got Kendall Lamb, who can give you a swing tackle right now. They get Carson Vincent in the 5th round, who could be a developmental tackle for them. So I'm okay with that. Let's see what else. Harold Fanning Jr., especially if the Dallas Goedert trades are legit serious. I think that's a great pick for them. Harold Fanning Jr. is going to be an absolute dog, man. Whoever gets him, they're going to get a stud. Lathan Ransom, some more safety help. Okay, cool with that. Lathan Ransom can play. You know what I mean? He's a really solid player. Okay, get some cornerback help, too, with Denzel Burke. Yaya Black, interior run defender. Get some pressure maybe off of Jordan Davis. Chris Paul Jr., another coverage linebacker into that position with Zach Bond. And obviously with injuries, that's the thing with Nakobe Dean that you have to think about. You got Jeremiah Trotter, but I could still see them investing in the linebacker position. It's thin, and they could use some more help, especially after losing Oren Burks. Pittsburgh, here you go get Shedeur Sanders. Okay, quarterback of the future. I think this is the ideal landing spot for Shedeur Sanders, so why not, right? I mean, if he's there at 21, Aaron Rodgers, you can't let him hold you hostage. We're just thinking about the future in general like that. You have to do. So I think Shedeur Sanders is a good pick for them. Let's see, you got Dylan Sampson out of running back, some speed in that offense. Okay, that's some speed all day there. You got Jordan Phillips, Elijah Roberts, Chamari DK, and Carson Brenner from Washington. Okay, solid draft here for Pittsburgh. Get some defensive line depth on day 3 and a wide receiver there. Linebacker depth. I don't know if linebacker is the biggest thing that I'd be looking at. I may even go to the offensive line at some point. They didn't draft any offensive linemen, so that'd be my one little knock on the draft of the Steelers. But in general, pretty solid. I think they did a good job. And Phillips could play up at nose, too, to give Benton more rushing opportunities. 49ers, let's go ahead and zoom it. Zoom. Mazda commercial and right inbound. But 49ers get Shamar Stewart, typical John Lynch, Kyle Shanahan. Let's go get those trenches. Let's get an edge rusher. Defensive tackle, to me, is the biggest need on the roster right now. The free agency, they can still add some players, so I imagine that they're not done yet. They do have some money to be able to spend as well. They get Omar Norman-Lato. I like that move for them. They also get Elijah Simmons, so they go to Tennessee, go get those two guys. Simmons is the run defender. Norman Lott's the pass rusher. And then you got Anthony Belton, a good developmental tackle for them. I think that's a really good pick, and he doesn't have the athleticism of Trent Williams, but he's got the power. I'll tell you that right now. Carson Swissinger. Okay, if they do not feel comfortable with D. Winters, or if the injuries are concerning them, if they can't get C.J. Mosley, that would make sense for them to draft Carson Swissinger. So those are going to be things to keep an eye on, and I would imagine that they are going to go into this BPA, see who's on the board, and if they say linebacker, let's go Carson Swissinger, because he's a really good football player, and if they get him, then they may not have to sign C.J. Mosley, and they'll just roll with that, and they'll use their money elsewhere. And that's why you always want to go into the draft with the BPA approach. You just see who's available, who you like the most, and then you can add guys later. Let's see who else. They got Jackson Slater, good developmental center. I actually almost went with Jackson Slater in my mock draft. I was debating between going 3rd round with Jared Wilson or going 4th, 5th round with Jackson Slater. Perfect fit in the outside zone wide system that this 49er team runs. Got some cornerback depth, running back depth. That's what they do. And Damian Martinez would be a good replacement for Jordan Mason as a power element in that room. Oh, we got Max Brosmer, okay, from Minnesota. Why not? Right, get another backup quarterback. And then on the Seattle Seahawks, Gray Zabel. Oh my goodness, I'm shocked, right? I mean, this is a self-explanatory pick. They need offensive line desperately, and I like the ability where you can play center, play guard for them, depending on Ola Timmy and how they want to go about that. Just get your best 5 offensive linemen out there. I think Ola Timmy would be your starting center, and then Zabel would be your starting left guard over there, and you have competition between Haynes and Bradford and etc. So. And they got Ezra Thomas. I love that pick for them in the second. They also got James Pierce in the second. Oh my gosh. What a value. Unbelievable. You crazy? Oh my goodness. Jets. I would have probably taken James Pierce in the second round there. Why not? But, Pierce, great pick. Yeah, you worry about the personality. But I was listening to the Broshmo and Wasted mock draft. That was so funny. I love that. It was probably was my favorite mock draft of this entire cycle. Wasted's hilarious, dude. Oh my gosh. He's like, I don't need choir boys out here at the off the edge position. I was losing it when he was talking about James Pierce. Hey, it's true. I mean, I like guys with a chip on their shoulder off the defensive line. Like, you don't have to be super polite when you're out there as an edge rusher, right? You need to be like, ah, you know what I mean? Come on. So it is what it is. James Pierce. So Wasted. You are hilarious, man. Oh my gosh. I recommend anybody go watch that. It was so funny. But you got Savion Williams from TCU. And another wide receiver for them with some big-time upside and some speed, and maybe you can develop him to that DK Metcalf of the future. You got a good release, too, so that's why I feel comfortable he can play on the outside in the NFL. Quinn Ewers, developmental backup for them. Why not, right? Add a little quarterback there. I don't know. It's okay. I'm not super high on Quinn Ewers, but he does have some potential. JJ Pegues. Oh, Malachi Moore. I love that pick here for Seattle. Get them some more safety depth. You got your starters, but certainly could use some more help. Malachi Moore, good football player. Anything else here? Eugene Asante, going to be a good special teamer. Some more linebacker depth with his speed. Tampa, Jahad Campbell. Self-explanatory. Get a linebacker in there for the future. The great Levante David, going to be, 35 this season? So, got to think about the future there. Whether or not Savache Dennis can be a long-term starter. He's had some injuries, too, so I think Campbell will make a ton of sense. Nick Gordon on day 2. You got Jacob Parrish. Get some cornerback depth. Makes a lot of sense for them. Now, they got a lot of slot guys. So that'd be my only nitpick with that one is Parrish to me is more of just a slot guy. I don't know. Maybe you say you can be Mikey Sanders still, can play on the outside, but that would be my one thing that I really consider when it comes to that. So I think Tyke Smith can hold that down. You got Christian Isian as well. So I feel like they could use that pick on somebody like a Jonas Sanker, who in the 4th round, I think that's a great pick for them. Nick Gordon off the edge, add some more defensive line presence. They said they want to get home without blitzing more next season. I love their day 3 picks, though. And you also get Orlando Gadsden. I think that's a good one. Why not, right? I mean, I like Cade Otton, and I think he's their starter. But once again, like, you could add that number 2 tight end. Orlando Gadsden's a versatile player that can play out as a wide receiver, as a big X type of thing, a big slot. Jimmy Horn, more speed at receiver, which is something that they could use, right? They don't have a whole ton of speed in that offense. So Horn could be a returner for them, but also a speedster on the outside. I think it's a good draft for the Bucs in general. On to the Tennessee Titans here. You got Cam Ward, self-explanatory there. Luther Burton III, Missouri at 35. Great pick. Add a weapon for Cam Ward other than Calvin Ridley. Yeah, you got Nick Westbrook-Akine. Actually, no, sorry, you do not. They let him go. They got Van Jefferson instead. So, I think that they need to add another weapon, clearly. You got Cam Jackson. Ooh, pick 103. Okay, so add a big run defender. I don't like that one, to be honest with you. I mean, they could use more depth on the interior defensive line, but, am I rushing out to get that over an edge rusher? No, I'd rather go get Hosea Stewart at 103, even though they got him at 120, which is great value. At the same time, I feel like that's not that big. You got Tavondre Sweat, one of the better interior nose tackles in the NFL. I guess you figure that Sweat can't play 100% of the downs, and I respect that, and they could use a rotation, so I get that, but do they need to spend a premium pick on that? No, I think they got other needs on their roster. Cameron Williams, I do like that one, just in case, okay? Just in case that the whole situation Dan Moore doesn't work out, then you have a developmental right tackle, really young player. Jared Ivey, good football player, just not, a great athlete or anything like that. So I like the 2 edge rushers that they get, and Ivey can be their, long-term Danico Autry type of guy, even though different schemes and stuff. But Joshua Gray, Robert Lagerbeam, both, I like Lagerbeam a lot. I think he's a guy that's a little undersized, but certainly he has that dog mentality in him. I was impressed when he went against Marvin Harrison. Final team, we got the Commanders. They go Emeka Egbuka. Let's go. Why not, right? Emeka Egbuka. They go get a Terry McLaurin-esque wide receiver. Egbuka, he's going to be a guy that comes into your locker room right away and I think is going to be a leader at some point and just somebody that honestly may not be the best receiver in the NFL, but I feel like he's going to be consistently a top 25 guy in the league. I take this guy no problem, especially in this draft class. If you're getting him at the back end of the first round, I feel like I'm whispering to you guys right now, but you know what I mean? Like, Emeka Egbuka, I know what I'm getting from him. He is a dog on and off the field. As a blocker, I mean, come on, man. And as a receiver, he's going to make plays. I can't explain enough how much I really like this pick for the Commanders. I get it. You got edge. You need help there. But at the same time, if there's nobody you feel comfortable with, if you don't want to take one of these edgers, you don't have to force it. Egbuka is a A+ pick. And then you got Olufemi Oladejo, edge rusher from UCL. He's got a lot of upside, okay? I mean, he's a developmental guy. The end of the first, second round, it's a little high for me, but the traits are there. Young player. DJ Giddens, good running back depth, and they could use another runner, right? They did struggle in that department. A lot of their rushing totals came from Jaden Daniels, so I think they could use a little bit of an upgrade, or at least more competition in there. Austin Eckler is getting a little bit older now, too. You got Jack Kaiser from Notre Dame, linebacker depth, and Jonah Monheim, UCLA, interior offensive lineman, even played a little tackle there at UCLA. Get him some more interior depth, especially with the fact that Samuel Cosme could be out for a good chunk of the season next year. And Kaiser could be a developmental linebacker for Bobby Wagner, the great Bobby Wagner. Anyway, that is it for this mock draft from Dane Brugler, a full 7-round edition. So I really enjoyed it. No matter what, you can agree or disagree with the picks. I have so much respect for anybody that does any mock drafts because it's not easy. I'll tell you right now, it's not easy. Brugler is amazing. 7-round mock draft is just absolutely insane. Plus the beast he just came out with. So the guy, give him a summer. Go out there and play some golf, man. Like, you've earned it. And I hope you guys have a really good day. Let me know what you think about your team or any team in general, and I'll talk to you later.